Oh hey YouTube, it is really good. My name is Eevee Color. It's been a hot minute since I have done anything on YouTube. I don't know the exact time frame of what that is, more specifically, but I do know that it's been a hot minute since I've been here. Hopefully everything currently sounds fine. Hopefully everything looks good. I don't know. You know, like I said, I haven't streamed on YouTube in a hot second. I'm gonna check my stream health before we do anything else. It looks like we're fine. So here we go. Okay. So what this is going to be a live draft breakdown for the WBE. If you don't know what the WBE is, it's the league that A Drive started. Also, hi, I see people in the chat. I am going to go ahead and preface this by saying I won't interact with the chat now, because even though I'm doing this live, the whole purpose of this is for me to do my draft breakdown, and then sort of like at the end of it, maybe I'll take questions and stuff, but just so people can watch my draft breakdown, which, by the way, if you just want to skip all the rambling and me talking, there will be a time code right here once this video is actually uploaded after, you know, being streamed live, to go to when I start talking about my draft. And then if you want to listen to me answer some questions about my draft, I probably plan on doing that for about 10 minutes after I go over my draft. That'll be at the end. So anyways, hi, thank you so much for being here. My name is Eevee Color. I haven't streamed in a hot minute, but we're just going to be going over my draft picks for the WBE. I decided to stream this live because there's some part of me right now that just can't fathom recording something like this and then editing it, because I've recorded so much stuff that I need to edit that I just haven't edited. So part of this, again, is I'm using this as a little bit of an update. If you don't know, I've been streaming on Twitch, which is where I will be, that's where I will be hunting for the Pokemon in this league, because one part of the WBE that is kind of like really refreshing is that no one can gin their Pokemon, because we all breed our Pokemon in other leagues, and since there's no breeding, no one knows how to gin in this iteration, and there's no breeding, so we all have to catch our Pokemon. So I'll be streaming all of my hunts on Twitch. If you want to follow me on Twitch, the link will be in the description down below. I would love that. Also, in terms of the description down below, there's links to all the coaches. It's a really fantastic cast. I'm going to read through all the coaches real quick just so everybody knows sort of like, you know, what's going on. So we have Fufutu, or Sam with Newcastle United. We have Hayden, one of like the OG battlers on YouTube, Colorado Rapid Spins. We have A Drive, the Minnesota Vikavolt, the guy who runs the league, the, you know, the YouTube Pokemon Draft League king, I guess you would say. He just does the most out of any other person I know of. We've got my home slice, the BB Mewtwo fan Nate with the New York Noibats. He's the most vegan coach we have. We have the, I can't pronounce this even a little bit, Humalau Hoodlums with Hoodlums Crafty Callum. We have the Chicago Cub Chews, Galactic Elliott. We have me, in Vivid Color with the South Texas Stabilize. Whoever put my name in here spelled color wrong, because they spelled it the British way, and that's not how I spell my name. Also, I know I said I wouldn't react to the chat right now, but if the music or the audio sounds bad, please say something in the next like 3-ish seconds, and I'll look at the chat and make sure, because once again, I'm doing this on the fly. We also have the Seattle Sea Kings with Jodor, the Milwaukee Sawsbucks with Magnitude, the guy who invented the whole concept of Pokemon Draft League, and we have the Seattle Drizzlers with Deathly. So anyways, okay, what else do I have to say? So follow me on Twitch if you want to actually watch me hunt for these Pokemon. Definitely do that, because that's where I'll be doing it. I don't really want to stream like hunts and stuff on YouTube anymore, and part of that is something that I should record, but basically like an update saying like I don't just want to be confined to gaming anymore, so I want to move gaming streams almost exclusively over to Twitch. I might do stuff here once in a while. I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I'm the most, I don't know, I was gonna say unaware person, but that's not the right word. I'm like the most indecisive person with what I want to do in terms of content, because I don't just want to do gaming content anymore, but that's not really what we're here for. And I've been rambling at this point for a while, so let's actually just get into the draft. I think I've covered everything. I went over the coaches, links in the description down below, music playlist in the description down below, my Twitch is in the description down below. Subscribe to me if you haven't already on this channel, and go follow my Twitch. please, dear God, I'm really close to the numbers for being affiliated on Twitch. I think I need 9 more followers, and then I will have met all the metrics, except I have to stream like 1 more day. Okay, so when someone said the volume of the music might be slightly too loud, so I'll turn it down a little bit. That way, maybe my voice doesn't I don't know, get drowned by the music. Okay. I'm done rambling. This is where the time code will start for the draft, because I'm just really good at rambling and not making a lot of sense. Okay, let's start the draft. Okay, hi. Okay, so for the first pick, I was 7th pick. Oh, let me explain a few more things. I think I have ADD, which is why I can't keep a clear train of thought. I'm actually being treated for it right now. I took a trial ADD medication thing today. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm fine. I put fruit in my tea. I don't know if it was a good idea, but it turned my tea kind of red, and now it just looks like there's organs floating in it. So there you go. Okay. A few things about the draft. Mega Alakazam, Mega Gengar, Mew, Mewtwo, and Melmetal were banned. So those things were banned. We have to Mega Evolve first turn. Each team gets 1 Mega and has to pick 9 other Pokemon. So 10 teams, we each get 10 Pokemon. That's 100 total Pokemon. If you count the number of fully evolved Pokemon that exists in the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee meta, not including Megas, but including Alolan forms, I think it's in the range of like 85-ish. And then once you include Megas, it gets close to 100. So there's roughly just enough fully evolved Pokemon for us to each have those. But obviously, you can draft things like Kadabra or whatever. Anyways, I just wanted to explain that. So I think that's the base of the rules. We have to catch our teams, which is why I'll be streaming that on Twitch. I explained the ban list. Other than that, it's like typical ban, like sleep clause. You can only put 1 Pokemon to sleep, evasion clause, things like that, so on and so forth. Okay, let's actually start talking about the Pokemon that I drafted. So I had 7th pick overall, and my first pick was Zapdos. So going into this, Zapdos was really, really high on my radar because I think just in terms of the actual Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee metagame, with Mega Gengar and Mega Alakazam out of the equation, I think I think Zapdos is just one of the strongest Pokemon left on the roster. Obviously, they're really, really powerful Megas. Like, I had my eye on Mega Gyarados as a potential first pick. I had my eye on Mega Venusaur, and I had my eye on Mega Aerodactyl. So I had my eye on those 3 things. Mega Aerodactyl was first pick overall, just because in this format where Mega Alakazam and Gengar are banned, it's the absolute fastest Pokemon. Like, nothing can outspeed it ever, I don't think. Electrode can speed tie with it. Electrode can't OHKO it, though. So, it is the absolute fastest Pokemon. It makes sense that it went round 1. It's just a really solid mon, and it hits hard. So, that was off the table. I think Mega Gyarados went round 2, so the 2 Megas that I was really, really interested in, besides Mega Venusaur, went. And by the time it got to me, Zapdos was still on the table, and I was like, okay, I think I have to take this thing. It's really good. It doesn't get Volt Switch, which is probably beneficial, because if it got Volt Switch, I mean, it's not beneficial. It's strictly a nerf, but it's probably beneficial in this metagame, because the best checks to Zapdos are all ground-type Pokemon. Like, Rhydon does a really good job of checking it, Alolan Dugtrio, so on and so forth. So if you had Volt Switch, you might just be tempted to click that and get locked into it. Whereas it does get U-turn, so it still offers momentum. It hits a great speed tier of 100, so it outspeeds a lot of things. It hits like a truck, and it's also really, really bulky. Like, fun fact, I think a Rock Slide from Mega Aerodactyl is not a clean OHKO on Zapdos. Like, it's a clean OHKO if I switch into Stealth Rocks, but from full, I don't think it cleanly OHKOs Zapdos. And I don't think Zapdos can OHKO back cleanly unless it's modest. But I can still roost to get rid of rock weaknesses, heal up, kind of like stall out things. It's just a really solid mon. It's super bulky. Drill Peck is fantastic, because with Drill Peck, it can actually, I think, 2-hit KO Venusaur, which is, or I think Venusaur and Mega Venusaur, which are just these super thick grass types. It's also really solid against all of the fighting types. So Mega Zapdos, I keep saying Mega Zapdos. Zapdos was my round 1 pick. I was really happy with it. And like I said, I was 7th pick. So, I basically 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 people picked under me. I shouldn't have had to count for that. It's kind of embarrassing. 3 people picked under me, and then they all picked again, and then it got back to me, right? Because it was snake draft. So let's hope that the slides work how they're intended. So I was really, really high on just going from Zapdos to Mega Venusaur, and then definitely Tyler who had the last pick, the wheel pick, not only picked up Mega's Venusaur, but also picked up the water type I was highest on, probably because it's just the default best water type in this generation in Starmie. So those two are off the table. And instead of doing anything like I'd planned, I just went ahead and picked up Rhydon as my second pick. And also, just to explain this, all of the sprites in this draft breakdown are going to be shiny because, like I said, I'm going to be hunting for them on Twitch. So I really hope that I end up with a full shiny team. There's a few mons that I'm not super sold on because I don't really want to soft reset for Zapdos over and over again. I also am not the biggest fan of trying. Well, there's a different. I almost gave away another member. There's another Pokemon that I'm not super high on the method of shiny hunting for. What is this song? It's kind of cool, but I have no clue what it is. I just realized my playlist is not shuffled at all. I'm gonna click the shuffle button, so maybe after this it'll stop playing in order. Okay. So I second picked Rhydon when it came back around to me because, in my opinion, the best rock setters in this format are Rhydon, Golem, and Alolan Doug Trio. Like, those are like your tier 1 Stealth Rock setters. And if you don't know, Stealth Rock is permanent in this format. Once you get Stealth Rocks up, they absolutely cannot be, like, removed. There's no Rapid Spin, there's no Defog. The only form of hazard removal in this game is Taunt to stop the rocks from going up, or KOing the Pokemon that sets up Stealth Rocks before it can set them up. So, in that vein, Rhydon, Golem are really physically bulky, can almost always take one physical hit and get your hazards up. I think Rhydon is slightly better than Golem in that it's more physically bulky. Golem, I believe, Golem, I think, has a higher defense stat, but it doesn't have as high of an HP stat. And I think Golem has slightly more Spadef, but they're both still dying to, like, Water Gun from Wartortle. So it's almost irrelevant. And then Alolan Doug Trio is, like, almost the exact opposite of them. It's just very fast and offensive. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Rhydon and Golem can both hit like trucks. Like, they both have monstrous attack stats. One of their, I think Golem's attack stat is 120 and Rhydon's is 130, I believe, or I might have those inverse, but they're definitely the inverse of one another. And so they both hit really hard. But Alolan Doug Trio is also a ground type. It is also a steel type, so it's immune to poison. I think it's just the best, like, offensive rock setter, whereas Rhydon and Golem are sort of like these mixed, like, more balanced setters, if that makes sense. I was really high on Alolan Doug Trio. I would have second picked it, but Magnitude, the person who drafted not directly after me, but 2 after me, picked it as his first pick, so it's gone. So we picked Rhydon. I'm really happy with it because, like I said, I think that those are the 3 best rock setters in this format, with sort of like Sand Slash and normal Doug Trio being like the tier 2 rock setters. It hits really hard. It's going to live most physical hits. I'm super excited to have it. There's not really much else to say about it. I like it shiny. I like the shinies that are golden in the right way, where it's not like that dingy green gold. So I'm excited to use it. Also, in this format, one-hit KO moves are legal for the first time ever in any league. So if I want to try and jam a Horn Drill set, I guess I can. This thing also gets Surf, so I can 1v1 Golem more easily, but I think Earthquake always does more. I don't know. I'm super excited to have this thing. It pairs really well with Zapdos. I should have picked up my Mega here probably, because I probably could have wheeled Rhydon, because the Mega I had in mind was Mega Slowbro after Mega Venusaur went, because Mega Slowbro pairs really well with Zapdos, where Mega Slowbro can decimate all the ground types that give Zapdos trouble, and Zapdos can sort of like power through the grass types, or some of the more, I guess, like utility-esque mons that Slowbro might have trouble with. But I didn't pick it up, and then it went after I picked Rhydon. It was actually drafted by Mewtwo fan Nate, and I was really upset. So I really had to snap off my Mega third pick, and by this time, the only Megas left, just to give you an idea, I think round 1, something like 6 Megas went, or something like that, 6 or 7, and there's only 11 legal Megas in this format, since Gengar and Alakazam are banned, and obviously all the Mega Mewtwo forms are banned as well. So I really had to snap up my Mega, and the 4 Megas that were left were Mega Charizard X, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Kangaskhan, and Mega Pidgeot. Like, those were the only Megas left. So I picked Mega Charizard X, and at first I was not at all excited about it, because in a format where permanent rocks, where Stealth Rocks are permanent, you never ever would have switched in with your Fire Flying Pokemon, because it's just gonna die, right? Like, it's just gonna get chunked for 50%. But when Mega Charizard X Mega evolves, he picks up the Dragon typing. So he's only 2x weak to rocks, not 4x. So you'll take 25 instead of 50. Mega Charizard X can also learn Roost. So it has it better than most other fire types in terms of like switching into rocks. Because I can switch into rocks, Roost, and then Mega Evolve. And then every time I switch in after that, I'm only going to take 25%. It's also one of, I think, it's 3 or 4 dragon types that are, in my opinion, viable. Because obviously there's Dratini and Dragonair, which are not viable. But, maybe. But, Mega Charizard X, Dragonite, and Executor Alola form, I think that's it. In terms of, like, actual viable dragon types. And Mega Charizard X hits super hard. Like, out of the 3 I just mentioned, they all 3 have good attack stats. I think Dragonite's attack stat even outclasses Mega Charizard's by, like, maybe 4 points. I think Dragonite's is 134, and Mega Charizard X's attack stat is 130. But I also have the dual typing of Fire, so I'm not 4x weak to Ice. I do pick up a ground weakness, but Zapdos has me covered there. And I don't know. I was honestly not high on this thing, but I was talking to Lord MB, who's a really good battler in his own right, like probably one of the better ones on YouTube. And he was telling me that he thinks that people are sleeping on this and it probably should have went round 1. So I got excited about it. It doesn't learn Dragon Dance like it does in other generations. In Gen 7, Dragon Dance is not in this game, so it doesn't really have a setup move, but its attack stat's already monstrous. Its special attack stat is also 130. It gets a decent amount of bulk because it's a starter Pokemon that Mega Evolves, so it's gonna have pretty balanced stats. Its speed tier is also 100. Again, speed stat is still 100, so it's still fast, and it's just like, there's no switch-ins to Outrage in this game. I think there's 4 fairy types, give or take. There's Mime, Clefable, Jigglypuff, and Alola Ninetales, and I think that's it. I could be wrong. There might be another that I'm missing, but there's just really no switch-ins for Outrage because there's only 4 fairy types. There's only like 3-ish steel types. There's Magneton, the Alola Sandslash, and is that it? I feel like there's one more. Oh, Dugtrio. But Dugtrio's not switching into an Outrage. It's definitely not taking 2 of them. And then on top of that, like, Flare Blitz hits like a truck, and we get good coverage moves. And like I said, this thing can be special, so I want to say that if you do the actual calcs, like, I think the special attacks from Charizard X can actually 2-hit KO the, like, physically defensive ground types that want to switch in to your physical attacks. So I was really excited about this thing. I'm ecstatic to use it. I think this forms a really strong core. We have a little bit of a ground weakness that I'm going to attempt to make up for in the future. But that being said, let's just move on. So, 4th pick, we're compounding onto that ground weakness. But Gengar was still on the sheet somehow, which if you do the math, I'm 7th pick. I'm 7th pick, right? So I didn't pick until 7, and then not again until like pick, what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? Something like that. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend I know how to do all the math because I don't. I've done this before. Gengar was still on the sheet. So this was 4th round and I was 7th pick. So what is that? It was pick number 37, which is absolutely wild to me that Gengar was still around because this thing has a great speed tier at 110. It is poison type, so again, I'm adding another ground weakness, but Charizard isn't actually weak to ground until I'm Mega, so I can use it as a pivot before it Megas. Zapdos is immune, and Rhydon can eat most Earthquakes that aren't coming from a powerful stab. Like, the only ground types I have to worry about with Rhydon are, like, maybe Alola Dugtrio, and Golem. But that being said, the Dugtrios don't OHKO me, and I OHKO back, so... I picked up Gengar. It's really good. It has a lot of viability. I'll only ever need 1 nature. Like, I'll only ever need to find a timid Gengar, which is great because, like I said, we have to hunt for all these mons. So if I need separate natures, like the Mega Charizard X, I'll probably want Jolly or Adamant. But then if I want to use a special set or a mix set, I'll have to find another nature, right? So I'll only ever need a timid nature Ghastly to evolve into this Gengar. And spoiler alert, I already have a shiny timid Ghastly. I just have to golden bottle cap it so that it gets all its stats. I'm just excited because this thing learns a ton of coverage moves. It's the only viable ghost type in my opinion because there's this and Alola Marowak, but I think Alola Marowak is too slow and doesn't actually get a ghost type stab move other than Shadow Ball. Like, it does not get a physical ghost move to abuse. Gengar gets Shadow Ball. There's limited switch-ins to that. There's limited switch-ins to the combination of Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, and on top of that it gets like, I think Giga Drain, Thunderbolt. I don't think it gets Ice Beam, but I don't know. Its move pool is super diverse. I think it's a taunt user. Taunt's really good in this metagame, so, you know, like, I was just really excited about this. I've never actually used a Gengar in a draft format, and I figure we're in the most limited draft format I've ever played in, so it's got to be super, super strong. So, my 5th pick, I really, really wanted a Psychic type. I figured I would pick a Psychic type early, and I was locked into Slowbro as my Psychic type. Like, I really, really wanted Slowbro because it gave me a physically defensive mon that could help with my ground weaknesses. And then someone took it. I don't remember who. We're getting to the point where I don't actually remember all the snipes in this draft. I got sniped a reasonable amount, but if you think about the limited number of Pokemon, it makes sense that this is the most I've ever been sniped in my entire life. So, pause for beverage. I picked up Jinx because it has a decent speed stat at 95. Its special attack stat is, I think, 115, and it learns Lovely Kiss, which, if you don't know, is, I think, the best sleep-inducing move in this game aside from Spore, because Sleep Powder is dodged by all grass types, so we can put things to sleep. We don't have to worry about grass type switching in and trying to absorb our sleep move or just not be affected by it, which is great. Ice type Stab is really hard to come by in forms that is effective. I think Jinx is probably one of the better Ice type mons. I mean, obviously there is Cloyster, who's really good and has Shell Smash, and Lapras is really bulky, but Jinx is sort of like this offensive mon. Not too many Pokemon in this format resist its dual stabs, and on top of that, Lovely Kiss, I think, makes it really, really appealing. So I was excited to get Jinx. I'm not excited to shiny hunt for it because I'm pretty sure it's one of the special, sort of like the special spawns. If you don't know how shiny hunting in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee works, follow me on Twitch and I'll explain it later. But this thing also gets taunt, which means it's good for shutting down rockers, and it just, I think, it's not the strongest Ice Beam in this format, because I think the strongest Ice Beam unboosted comes from Articuno, but Articuno, it just dies to rocks always, so I wasn't going to draft Articuno. Moving into round 6, I went ahead and picked up my water type, and I am super stoked to be using this crab. This crab, I think, is going to be great. I love Kingler. It is one of the few water types that actually has a setup move, and it's not a setup move that is as effective as Shell Smash. Like, Cloyster, I think, is the best Shell Smash. I think there's only 2 Shell Smashers. Cloyster is probably the best setup mon that is a water type in this format, and I think Kingler is probably the second best. Obviously, Amistar also gets Shell Smash, but I think Amistar is more limited in opportunities than Cloyster is, just because Cloyster already has a monstrous defense stats, so it can typically take physical hits, be slower than something, then set up. Amistar isn't as well-rounded, or it's at least not as bulky. Kingler has a fantastic attack stat. I think it's like 130. I pulled up the Pokedex of this so I could look up things on the fly if I needed to. I'm pretty sure Kingler's attack stat, yeah, it's 130, and its defense stat is actually 115. So Kingler not only can hit incredibly hard, but can also take physical hits, which I think is really, really important, because like I said, I needed to patch up a little bit of a ground weakness that I had, and in my opinion, Kingler does that, because it outpaces, I think, all of the, I think it's speed stat. I always thought Kingler was mega slow at like base 40 something, but its speed stat's actually base 75, so it outpaces all the ground types except for like Dugtrio and Alolan Dugtrio, and I think it even outpaces, does it outpace Onix? It outpaces Onix, which Onix isn't really a threat ever anyways. But I think it outpaces Sandslash too, and Sandslash, like I said, is probably, I think Sandslash is probably like, from the top 3, so we outpace Sandslash. So we outpace all of the big ground types that I would be worried about from my ground weakness. We can use agility to actually set up and outspeed the entire tier. Like an Adamant Kingler, after an agility, always outspeeds Mega Aerodactyl Jolly. So we can outspeed the entire tier, and then we can OHKO a large portion, or at least 2-hit KO a large portion of the team with our stab and coverage moves. So Crabhammer is, I think, the best physical water type attack in this game specifically. And we also get X-Scissor to deal with Psychics, Rock Slide, and I want to say there are other coverage options, or you can run something like Facade in case you get Toxic or Burned or Parad to just dish out massive damage. So I don't know, I think Kingler is really dope. I'm excited. I actually love the shiny. I don't typically like green shinies, but there's something about this muted forest green shiny that I really, really enjoy. So moving on to pick 7, we picked up the boy Tauros. This round, I was pretty locked into taking a grass type, and specifically I wanted Tangela, and then Hayden actually picked Tangela. And I was told that Hayden picked Tangela because at this point, Venusaur and Mega Venusaur were gone. Those are the 2 best grass types in this format. Easy, like not close. And then Dan A-Drive had actually picked up Alola Executor, which is the grass type I wanted. And I think it was actually picked up before Kingler. I'm not sure. No, I picked up Kingler, and then the same round Dan picked up Alola Executor, which I probably should have prioritized, because then I would have had double Dragon Spam, which I think would have been really, really solid. And Kingler probably could have made it back to me. And honestly, this was the biggest mistake I made while drafting, because there was a million really, really strong water types still left at this point in time. Like there was, I mean, there's just so many water types in Gen 1, and I didn't need to prioritize getting Kingler. Like, I'm excited I have it, but I think it would have made it back, and I don't think it's even close. Alola Executor is so much more valuable than that. It just is. Like, Leech Seed, Dragon typing, all of its coverage moves. It gets, like, Fire Blast, not Fire Blast, Flamethrower. Like, I don't know. I'm really sad about that. I'm also really sad about missing out on Poliwrath. If you can't tell by me picking up Kingler. Poliwrath, I think, went round 2. I think Sam... the guy that first picked Mega Aerodactyl, I think on his, like, what's that called? When you have the wheel pick. So when it got back to him, he picked Poliwrath and something else. A Nido, I think. Nido King. So, anyways, I was locked into taking a grass type this round. There were, I think, 3 grass types left on the board that were good, because Normal Executor had been picked, and I was really high on Normal Alola Executor, as opposed to Venusaur, because I already had a poison type. They were both gone. Again, sad face, cry. So the grass types that were left were Vileplume, Victory Bell, and Tangela. I was really, really high on Tangela because its move pool is actually pretty solid. It gets Sleep Powder, it gets Leech Seed. It's really, really physically bulky. So I was super excited about it. It doesn't have poison typing, so it straight up resists ground. Oh, and Parasect. So there were 4 going. There were 3 when this pick got to me. There were 4 before I picked. Whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. I was really high in Tangela, and it got picked by Hayden on the way down. So that was sad. And then I had the option between Victory Bell, Vileplume, and Parasect, and I was like, I probably push this pick off, right? So Tauros was sort of like the best offensive mon, one of the best offensive mons still on the sheet, in my opinion, because its base speed is 110, so it tied with Gengar. It's fast. Its base attack stat is also 110, or it's 100 or something. Tauros hits hard. It's not a light tap boy, I don't believe. Let me look at this. I have this dex up. So its base attack is 100, its base speed is 110, and it's also pretty physically bulky. Like, it has 95 base defense, 75 base HP, and 70 base special defense, so it's not going down to most one-shots that aren't, like, super effective fighting type moves. I have Gengar, which is the best ghost type in the format. I think someone else ended up drafting Haunter, and someone drafted Alola. So there's only 2 other Pokemon in this league that can just come in and be immune to my stab. And there's a limited number of rock and steel types that can just resist a double edge. So Tauros is going to be hitting hard. It's got good coverage options, and you can also just tech Surf on Tauros, because Surf always does in the range of like 65 to 75% to things like Golem, and I think it does around 50% to things like Sandslash. So really, really good mon, super solid. I'm stoked to have it. Again, not something I'm super excited to shiny hunt for, because it's one of the, I think, the rare spawns or the special spawns, unclear. But we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it, and we're gonna use this this little bull boy. Okay. 8th pick, I again decided to push off my grass pick because the same 3 mons were still alive. I was really, really attracted, just to sort of explain my thought process, I was really, really attracted to Victory Bell going into this pick, because it has Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, and it has a good physical and special attack stat, so it can actually hit from both sides of the spectrum. But I only have a copy of Let's Go Pikachu right now, so I was up to pick, and I really liked Victory Bell. I was super lukewarm on Vileplume, and even more lukewarm on Parasect. Pause for beverage. I was super lukewarm on Parasect just because it's got so many weaknesses. It's so slow. Like, Spore is cool, and it would have been a dope ground resist, but I was so lukewarm on it. And Vileplume, Victory Bell was, in my opinion, the best grass type left. It also gets, like, I think I mentioned this, but it gets Swords Dance, so it could be a setup sweeper. And the combination of Swords Dance and Sucker Punch is, I think, something that's only shared by Victory Bell on the Raticate forms. So I ended up pushing it off because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to hunt for it, because I'm not going to buy another copy of this game. So I texted my friend and I was like, hey, if I end up drafting Victory Bell for this league, can I borrow your copy of Eevee to hunt for a Bellsprout? So I was waiting for this reply. I ended up picking up Omastar because, like I said, there's only 2 Shell Smash Mons in this format. And Omastar, while it's not nearly as good as Cloyster, is still pretty reasonable. Like, I don't think it ever outspeeds Mega Aerodactyl after getting a Shell Smash off, but at the same time, you don't really need to outspeed it. You just don't click Shell Smash in front of it. Like, Omastar also has like a good utility move pool. It's got rocks. I say it has a really good utility move pool. I think it might just have rocks in terms of utility. I'm gonna look at its move pool right now. It has rocks. Hydro Pump is always going to hurt. The fact that it can Shell Smash and outspeed, because there's only one team with Mega Aerodactyl, and I think Omastar outspeeds base 120 Mons. I think it outspeeds base 120 Mons if it is Timid or whatever nature to make it go fast, be fast boy. I guess it's really like rocks. It really doesn't have that great of a utility move pool. So it sets up stealth rocks. So it gives me a second rocker, which I think is good. It's good to take that load off of just Rhydon. I probably will use Rhydon as my rocker most games or most weeks, but Omastar has the option to. And on top of that, this thing just has like its special attack stat is high. Like, it's defensive. It's like 125 base defense. It's 115 special attack. So we can hit really, really hard and hopefully just kind of like abuse this thing's dual stab. Like, my attack stat is bad at 60, but I think on a Shell Smash set, you would probably still run Rock Slide because you're doubling your attack stat. So anyways, I thought that this thing looked super solid. It was the only other Shell Smash Mon that was actually legal. I mean, there were Quiver Dance Mons, but Quiver Dance isn't as good of a setup move as Shell Smash in my opinion. And all the Mons that have Quiver Dance in this format are pretty soft, except for Venomoth, which went round 1 to Mewtwo Nate. Like, I was giving him crap about drafting it round 1, but I think it was actually like a pretty smart pick because it's the best Quiver Dance sweeper. Anyways, so we got Omastar, Shell Smasher, sets up rocks, gives me another water type, so we have to be wary of how many water types we have at this point. You know, there's just so many water types in Gen 1 that we were bound to pick up multiple typings. In round 9, my friend had actually replied to me and told me that I could borrow his game, so I ended up picking up Victory Bell, and it's good for all the reasons I explained earlier. It's good because it hits hard, it's good because it has like a good attack stat and a good special attack stat. It has setup options in Swords Dance. It can also run Growth and run like a mix set. You could run like Growth and then run like Mega Drain Sludge Bomb or something, because Growth raises attack and special attack. I don't know. I think it was the best grass type left. At this point, Vileplume had also been drafted, so that was just off the table, and I just wasn't going to pick Parasect. So moving into round 10, the last pick, I had some options, and I might end up changing this. Basically, I think the things that were left were like Golduck, Dugong. I mentioned this to someone. It's like Golduck, Dugong. I think Porygon was still left. I was really high on Porygon, I'm not gonna lie, but after looking at it, I just couldn't pick it. And that's actually something I might try to trade off. I don't think Porygon went. I don't think it did. And I think that it's actually maybe reasonable. I'm gonna look it up. Did Porygon get drafted? It looks like no. So Porygon's free. So I might end up changing this last pick to Porygon, just because Porygon offers like a little bit of utility, and by a little bit I mean like a pretty reasonable amount of utility. But for the last pick, I ended up picking up Golduck, which gives me a grand total of 3 water types. But hear me out. Golduck is sort of the exact opposite of Kingler, in that instead of being a physical type mon, it is a special mon. And Golduck actually learns Calm Mind. There aren't many Calm Mind users in this format. Golduck learns Calm Mind, so we can be sort of like, I mean, I guess you'd always be like the plus special attack or the plus speed nature, but maybe we could be like the plus defense nature, set up a Calm Mind. Does it get Amnesia? If it gets Amnesia, I guess we could try like an Amnesia Calm Mind set, you know, just to try and like make it really, really hard to take down. Something that I think I should have explained earlier is that rest is banned in this format, because if you don't know about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, when you're battling online, there's a 20-minute battle timer and you can't change that. It's not something you can edit. So we're locked into battles being 20 minutes only, and we're doing 6v6, which is kind of wild. So we can't rest, and it just in general makes stall tactics not good. I think most weeks, most teams are going to try to pull off some type of like balanced or hyper offense type build, just because stally tactics. Where is what is Golduck's number? Let me go back to the deck so I can see pictures of it. I can't read names, I guess. It makes stally tactics worse, right? Just because, what are you gonna do? Try and like toxic stall someone out? It's not gonna play. So we have Golduck, which gives me triple water on this team, which means that, I mean, I have, I believe, a top tier ground type, so I'm not really worried about electric. I also have Victory Bell to come in on like weaker electric type hits. We have a couple mons that resist grass that we can like come in with. Like, I think Zapdos puts all the grass types in this format to shame. That includes Mega Venusaur, just because it can 2-hit KO it. I don't know. I'm super stoked about my team. I'm not gonna lie. Golduck was like a little bit of a lame duck for me. Lame duck. But I think it has its uses, because I think Scald is probably one of the best moves in this format, just because there's not a great amount of attacks that have really good secondary effects. Like, there's no discharge, right? It's just Thunderbolt. So Scald is one of those attacks that has that 30% chance to burn, and I think that's nuts. So I think Scald is probably the default best attack in this format, if I had to just guess right now. Okay, it does get amnesia, so we could run like an amnesia calm mindset if we wanted to. Its speed stat's not the worst thing. It's like 85. Yeah, it's 85, so its speed stat's not the worst, so we could run like an amnesia calm mindset. Unfortunately, there's no way for it to recover health. Oh wait, this isn't Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee level up moveset. Let me try again. Okay, it still gets amnesia. So it still gets amnesia and calm mind. Its special attacks aren't super deep either. You're looking at like Psychic, Ice Beam, Scald. But still, I think this thing is maybe slightly abusable. Again, I might trade it for Porygon to have something to like be just like a defensive kind of pivot that learns recover, but I'm not sold on that either. So this is my team. And now I will go ahead and answer any questions anyone has in the chat. If you have questions about my team, I have been sort of like ignoring the chat the entire time to just get through the video. But if anybody has like any questions, like what's my favorite mon, where are you gonna hunt for these? It's twitch.tv/in_vivid_color. I need to go ahead and see if I can change that to just in vivid color and get rid of the underscores. I don't know if you can change your links. I need to just remove the underscores from my username. I probably need to pick a new username. It's time to rebrand. It's not really. Anyways, if anyone has questions about my team, go ahead and ask them. I'll answer them. I'll stay here for like 5-ish more minutes. And then I'm probably going to end the stream, let this video upload. This will be my draft breakdown on YouTube. If you're watching this after the fact, please leave a like on the video. It would mean the absolute most to me. If you're new here, please subscribe. We're in a big boy league with big boy channels, and that's kind of cool. So maybe be excited about that, because we're a small boy channel. And you know, if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, leave a comment letting me know, or asking me questions about my team, or letting me know how bad I am, or how bad it is that I have 3 teams. Anyways, anybody have questions? Is your favorite Pokemon still Sableye? This isn't about my team, but yes, it's Sableye and Porygon, which is also why I'm kind of sad that I didn't draft Porygon. I miss you. I hope to see more content from you soon. I'll be following you on Twitch. Thank you. Yeah, which, by the way, if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'll post the link in the chat right now, because that would be kind of you. Did I post the link? Yeah, I did. All right. I'm going to post that link right now. If you're watching this after the fact, don't worry. The link is in the description. You don't have to be in the chat. There it is. All right. Does anyone else have questions about my team? If not, I'll be wrapping up. And thank you so much for coming out. Like, I think we had something like 10 to, I think we peaked at like 15 viewers at once. So that's dope. I am happy to see that people still care about watching me talk about random things. Also, let me know if you sort of enjoyed this, and this goes for people in the chat right now or people watching this after the fact. Let me know if you enjoyed me doing this as a stream where I just rambled. Like, there was no fancy editing involved. I just kind of like set up and I talked and I spat what I wanted to say to you. And then I just let it upload. And now this is going to be my my draft breakdown video. Because like I said earlier, I just could not fathom. I couldn't fathom recording this. I just couldn't. I want to start recording like commentary videos, but I'll leave that for an upload video where I actually record it. Is Jinx thick? Let's go back to the Jinx slide. What do you think? Come on. Don't be stupid. My favorite mega in this format, specifically, my favorite mega would be Mega Venusaur, which is why I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't pick it round 1, because it was still on the table for sure. It was still on the table for sure, and I picked Zapdos over it, but Zapdos would have went because as soon as I picked Zapdos, Jodor picked right after me, and he said I sniped him. So I am happy with Zapdos. I think it's probably the best Pokemon in this format, or it's at least top 3. So many Mons getting EQ and Drill Run is going to be fun for you. Yeah, I agree. It's not the best. We have a little bit of a ground weakness. We have, Omastar, Gengar, Zardex, and Rhydon weak to ground. That being said, Rhydon lives a Drill Run from basically everything and lives most EQs. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't even think if you calc Golem's EQ, I don't think it Oko's. I'm pretty sure Golem does outspeed us, so we can't stay in unless it's already damaged. But yeah, I don't know. The ground weakness is definitely real. I'm trying to patch. I justified it by saying Zapdos and Kingler can come in on these hits. Tauros lives most earthquakes. Omastar also, even though it's weak, lives most earthquakes and doesn't actually outspeed all the ground types, but if we can get in, like if we don't switch in on an earthquake, we can almost always shell smash. So its speed is actually beneficial there. And Victory Bell, while it doesn't resist earthquakes, can at least come in and outspeed most users of the attack. And Oko. She thick. Yeah, Jinx she's super thick. Love your rambling. Thank you. That means the absolute most. What are you most excited for this meta? That it's fresh. The Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon meta is garbage right now, in my opinion. And I don't mean that like it's bad. Like, the game is still fun, but like it's so played out because the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon meta is essentially just the Sun and Moon meta, which is 3 years old or something like that. It's like close to 3 years old. I'm just excited that it's fresh. I think that the fact that the metagame is so small, like it's 153 mons, right? If you count Melmetal, Meltan, and Mew. Pause for beverage. So the fact that it's so small, I think, is going to make it that much more interesting because our move pools are smaller. We're going to be able to predict things better, but I don't know. To me, that takes it from being like this really, really hard, like massive game where I have to predict so much and there's like 5 different sets each Pokemon can run, to it's going to be a really, really finite metagame that has, I don't know, like, I don't want to say like it'll be more solved, but it'll be more solved, you know what I mean? And I think that that's good because it means that shifts can happen more frequently in terms of like which Pokemon is used. Like for instance, I think Electabuzz is not great, right? But Electabuzz is great in a metagame where you like it could be beneficial if it is ever necessary to have an electric type that also gets a psychic type special attack that can also use a physical fighting type move. Like if that's ever good in the metagame, then Electabuzz suddenly goes from being this mon that's like not great to this mon that is good. I don't know. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for like that aspect of the game where it's smaller, so your options are more limited, but I think that that almost enables more creativity because in a field that's like so diverse, right? Like the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon metagame, everybody just gravitates towards like your Landorus's or your Megalopone's, your Mega Mawwals, like your really, really, really impressive Pokemon that are just dominant, and there aren't other Pokemon that can fill that niche, if that makes sense. So I'm excited about that. Any other questions though? I feel like I'm taking this is a Q&A portion of the stream. I just wanted to interact with the stream, you know, before we ended. Which, by the way, thank you so much for you all being here. I see a lot of familiar faces. You were in my Twitch chat. Thomas, Carmine, someone else came in here. Michael Muro. Let's see, who else? Pokemon Professor. We got Yvette in here. She's been here since the beginning. Thank you so much for all being here. Maneko. Yo, also, if you want to watch someone who is uploading, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to plug your channel. Other than all the coaches in the description down below, if you want to go subscribe to someone, Maneko, who's in the chat, she's been posting like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Let's Play, and she's also been streaming. Go follow her. She's really dope. And also follow her like Instagram, because she makes custom plushies and they're dope. Purple Dragon, hi. What is up? Not about the team, but remember your blue sleep luck. I do. That was good times. I actually want to do something like that again. Something like that I would probably do on YouTube so that it could upload. But in terms of like shiny hunting, I will be streaming on Twitch. So, and again, that change specifically is because I want this channel to eventually be more than just gaming, because it's like this trend where recently gaming is kind of like soft on YouTube. Like gaming content, I feel like it's saturated. And I want to do leagues because I think leagues are fun, but I don't want to be locked into like gaming. Like I want to do commentary. I want to make skits. I want to do vlogs. I don't have time to do any of it. And I'm also, I don't know, trying to like hone my videography craft so that I can maybe be like a event videographer someday, but whatever. Whatever. I just don't want to do just gaming here anymore, because I don't think that benefits most channels. I think you need something really special. I think you need like a very high level of skill, and you also need to be playing a game that has a high level of traffic. And I'm doing neither of those things. So I think I want to give myself more opportunities to use my skill sets to grow on YouTube. And I think one of my skill sets is being a little bit sporadic, a little bit eclectic, maybe a little high energy, and maybe being able to be kind of funny or entertaining. Been so long since I've seen your video. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done anything on YouTube. Like even just posting, it's been a hot minute. Good to hang out with the chat again. Yo, thank you so much for all being here. Where have we been at? 45 minutes? Yeah, 45-minute draft breakdown. Once again, if you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much. It means the absolute most. For those of you that have been here, thank you so much for watching. That also means a ton to me. If you could do me one favor before you leave, if you have a Twitch account, please go over to my Twitch channel and subscribe to it. That would mean the absolute most to me. I would very much so, not subscribe, follow me on Twitch. You can't subscribe to me on Twitch. Subscribe to me on YouTube if you're new. That goes for anyone in the chat, and also anyone watching this after the fact. I'm really trying. You know, like this video, go follow me on Twitch, leave a comment if the video after it's uploaded. Just thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute most. I'm gonna end this because it's at like 40-something minutes and no one's gonna watch it after it uploads anyways. It's way too long, but I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I will stream on YouTube sometimes, but it might not be gaming. I might do different like Let's Talk or like story time streams. I don't know. I really want to expand and try different things. So thank you so much for your time. It means the absolute most. My name's in Vivid Color, but I'm kind of done here and I gotta leave. I'm gonna go to this little this start stream card right here, and I'm also gonna turn my face cam off, and this is gonna be my little outro card. So love you. Thank you so much for everything you do. Bye.